Good morning, children. This is English video session for class 10. The book which we are doing now is Honeysuckle, chapter number 4, Diary of the Young Girl, Annie Frank. We have seen the message given by she gets the diary as a birthday gift. She says that it is not amusing, it's not something which is interesting of the 13-year-old girl diary, because even if somebody wants to read also, it is not so very interesting or not for her own self. But she makes a very beautiful point that she says that paper has more patience than people. She says paper has more patience than people. Why does she say so? I thought of saying this because those days when I was feeling little depressed and I was sitting at home with my chin in my hand. How do you, when you are thinking something deeply, when you are feeling lonely, you put your chin on, cup your chin, you put your hands in your chin and sit. Bored and listless, no energy, as if you have no interest for anything at all. Wondering whether to stay in or go out. I finally stayed where I was brooding. Yes, paper does have more patience. What happens to paper? You write something, it doesn't go and speak, or it doesn't have to tell others, or it will not go and it will not come and question you. It will not betray you. So many things are there. And since I'm not planning to let anyone else read this stiff-backed notebook, the one which has got the thick covers. So what happens? It will stand straight. It will not bend. Stiff-backed. Stiff-backed is usually when we walk straight, like a marching is called stiff-backed. Okay, normal walking is gentle. Okay. Grandly referred to as diary. So this is referred to as diary. Unless I should ever find a real friend. So she says that she will continue to write what all she feels. She will pour what all is there in her mind. She'll express her feelings. She'll express her the day. She'll express all events of the day in this diary until she finds a close friend. That is the term which is given, friend. So, is she alone? Is a question which is very common and which makes us think why she should say so. No, I'm back to the point that prompted me to keep the diary in the first place. I don't have a friend. Huh? Is it possible for a 13-year-old girl not to have friends? So, what is it, friend? What is the loneliness referred to here as? She feels that she is not having anyone to share. Why does she have? Why does it happen like that? Let us see. Let me put across clearly that since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world. And I'm not. I have loving parents. 16-year-old sister. So there is a beautiful sister. Her name is Margot. She is there in the house. Then parents were very loving. Parents are also there in the house. Okay. And there are about 30 people I can call friends. So around 30 people. I have a family, loving aunt, and a good home. I have family, loving aunts. The aunts are really loving. They give me gifts, they give me chocolates, they care for me. It's lovely. It's all fine. But why does she say that she don't have anybody as friends? Let's see. No, on the surface I seem to have everything except my one true friend. So what she says is surface. In reality, many are there around her, but she fails to express herself fully, believe and tell, believe and share. She says she don't have a friend. All I think about when I am with friends is having a good time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everyday things. So what do I talk? What do I wish to talk? Ordinary day to day things. What happened in the day? What is the fight you had with within the class? What are the things taught? What did the teachers say? These are the things that she wished to share with somebody else. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everyday things. We don't seem to be able to get closer, and that's the problem. Maybe it is my fault we don't confide in each other. In any case, that's just now how things are, and unfortunately, they are not liable to change. This is why I have started to writing a diary. So here are around more than 30 people around her, but she feels lonely. She wanted to talk about day-to-day events and enjoy with her family, but unfortunately there was no sort of reception to all these things. So she doesn't find comfortable, and so she writes what all she feels in the diary. Okay. Here, diary here refers to an expression of herself, of her inner self, her feelings and attitudes, and what all the revelations about the incident through her viewpoint point of view, a 13-year-old point of view. To enhance the image of the long awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people do. The way most people do. But I want the diary to be my friend. I'm going to call it this friend a Kitty. So she calls the diary with the name Kitty because this is the kitty she finds this kitty as a human being, and she imagines it as a human being and try to tell everything what she want. She don't want to share with others. Everything she shares with Kitty. That is the diary. Okay, so please, children, note down the kitty is not a human being who lives there, it is her own sister. Sorry, the kitty is nothing, her diary. Who is her sister? Margot. Yes. Okay, clear? How many years old Margot? 16 years. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I plunged right in, I'd better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. Though I don't want to tell about my life, I am telling about my life. Dislike? fate. I don't want to tell, but people who read will not be able to understand anything. So I will give a brief explanation of about my family. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand anything. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty, if I were to plunge right in, I'd better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. But I dislike means which I don't want to do. But what to do if people are reading, they will get confused, they will not be able to understand anything. So, to my dislike itself, she is doing the work. My father, the most adorable father I had ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. My sister Margot was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. I was born on 12th June 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. My father emigrated to Holland in 1933. My mother, Edith Hollander Frank, went with him to Holland in September, while Margot and I were sent to Aachen to stay with our grandmother. Margot went to Holland in December and I followed in February when I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margot. That is the time when I was born. Okay, they grew in the grandmother's house when they were young. Okay, especially during her younger school days, she was there. Okay, now let us learn about her primary way, that is the first grade. I started right away at the Montessori nursery school. I stayed there. Montessori means children primary. Yes, I stayed there until 6, at which time I started my first form. In the sixth to form, my teacher was Mrs. Coparis, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears and we said that a heartbreaking farewell. So, Coparis, one of the character which she always relished to remember, which she always wants to speak about and think about is Mrs. Coparis. Who is Mrs. Coparis? She was the headmistress. She was the head of that institution in the place where he was staying. Okay, let's see what happens to. They then separated after fifth form. She has to move. Yes, in the summer 1941, Grandma fell ill and had an operation. So my birthday passed on with little celebrations. Grandma died in 1942. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the other. A grandma's candle was also lit along with the rest. Okay. The four of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present day, that is 20th June 1942, and the solemn dedication of my diary. See, it is a dedication. She expresses a dedication. See at the top, children, Saturday 20 June 1942. So the year is 1942, the month is June, date 20, and year is, and the day is Saturday 1942. I repeat, 1942, year, month June, date 20, and written on Saturday The heading is Dearest Kitty. What did she put at the top? Dearest Kitty. Yes. Our entire class is quacking in its boots. In its booths. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers will decide who will move to the next form and who will be kept back. What's the meaning of kept back? Failed. What is quacking? Nervously shaking the legs. Okay, whether we'll go pass and go or whether we'll fail. Half the class is making bets. Gian and I laughed ourselves silly at other two boys behind us, Cian and Jacques, who have from morning to night said it's you are going to pass. No, I am not. You are, I am not. So they were going on having the same discussion. Please read and come the remaining part of the topic. Some of the things which we need to discuss and please read and come for the next class. With this, I close. Thank you, children.